Alright, this is equation number 17 on page 249. And in this problem we've got a variable in the denominator with the t's in the denominator. So first we'll talk about domain restrictions. These are already, linear t's already factored out. So the domain restrictions would be t can't be anything that makes a denominator 0. So t cannot be equal to 0, or t cannot be equal to a positive 1. Okay, so those are our two restrictions on the domain. As far as the lowest common denominator, I'm going to pick up every denominator that occurs. These are different. I've got a t, and then I've got a t minus 1, which I'll wrap up there. So t times t minus 1 is our lowest common denominator. So every term has to be rewritten or written in that lowest common denominator. So the missing factor in this first term is t minus 1. So I multiply that by 1 in the form of t minus 1 over t minus 1. In this one I'm missing a t, so I'll multiply this by 1 in the form of t over t. And in this one I'm missing the entire t minus t times t minus 1, so I'll multiply that by 1 in the form of t times t minus 1 over t times t minus 1. So now everything is written over the lowest common denominator, so I can merely just indicate that I'm going to now multiply every term by that lowest common denominator, and all of the fractions will clear. So I'll just have the numerator left in an equation here, so t times t minus 1. So simplifying this, I've got a t squared here. It's going to be quadratic, so in simplifying the left side, I'll have a 4t minus 6 equals t squared minus t. I'm going to subtract t from both sides, or sorry, 4t from both sides, and add 6 to both sides. So I'll have a t squared minus 4t minus 4t is a minus 5t, and a positive 6. That will factor pretty easily to t minus 3, t minus 2. So solutions would be a positive 3 and a positive 2. And neither of those are restricted as far as values for solutions by the domain restrictions. So I'm going to put those both in as solutions to this equation, and I'll leave the check to you, but if you put those in the original for t, it makes the equation true.